Welcome to the vlog. You rejoin us on day 10, which was a Sunday actually. Our plan was to cross the middle levels. Around about 18 miles we had to go in a couple of locks. Couldn't go much further than that because the stand ground lock that leads onto the Nene is closed on a Sunday. So our plan was to get nice and close and then enter the Nene the following day. As we head back out of Upwell, we go through this bridge, and it's one of the super low ones. In a way, I was glad to get it out the way with because we only just about squeezed under. In an earlier vlog, you might have heard me say there's not a huge amount of mooring on the middle levels. And that's true, but if you look on the right, you'll see a little landing stage. Many of the settlements, particularly those that have shops, will have a little stage like this that you can stay on for a while you top up with supplies, and they can be really quite handy. After about a mile we reached Marmont Priory Lock. This is a lovely little lock and the lock keeper is superb. You have to phone up in advance and book passage, but she's always there to help you through. She's got some fantastic stories about the middle levels and about her time there. It's well worth going and just having a chat with her. It's customary to leave her a tip as well, because after all, at least in part, the lock is on her land. Truly beautiful day again, a little bit windy, but a truly beautiful day. So once we'd left Marmont Lock, we headed off in the direction of March, where we planned to moor up and get a bit of shopping. Soon we were back in those long straight drains that you get on the levels. There's not a huge number of places to moor, and because you're so low down you don't actually see a great deal. Nonetheless, it was nice to be relaxing and heading through the countryside. It wasn't long until we arrived at March, and the facilities here are excellent. There's a great supermarket, quite a busy town. There's also a lot of facilities for boaters. There's water, there's pump out. It's quite a great place to stop. Also, as you leave March, there's a marina so you can fill up with diesel. A normal routine on the canal is to pull over every time I want a cup of tea and chill out for a bit, and it's been quite difficult to do that on the middle levels. But leaving March, I noticed there were more boats moored up in the reeds, so I thought I'd give it a go and see how it got on. Now I would say it was a bit of a faff getting moored up in there. It was quite a bit of an effort. But it was certainly worth it to get such a great view of the fish in the river. It was just teeming with life. After that, it was a pretty short run to the Ashline Sluice, which was our last lock of the day, because just the other side of that was the little landing stage where we planned to spend the night at Whittlesea. We awoke on day 11, and I was glad to see that despite the fact that we'd been moored by a public recreation ground, we actually had a really good night. It was a really good place to moor. We had 23 miles to do today and 8 locks, including the stand ground lock which we had to book into. This journey would also see us leave the middle levels and get back onto the River Nene. I was really looking forward to this because I really had enjoyed the character of the Nene as we came down it. The first obstacle of the day is this really tight turn called Brigant's Corner, right in the heart of Whittlesea. You're very, very enclosed in. Mind you, with all this shelter around, at least there won't be any wind. Well, that's what I thought anyway, but it became very apparent as soon as I started to turn that the wind was actually funneling down from the left. It made the turn quite difficult. In situations like this, sometimes it's better just to take the fact that you're being blown about and just slow the boat right down. That's what I did. I'm quite fortunate. We have a bow thruster called Susie who went up there with a pole and pushed us back out. Soon the doors of the stand ground lock opened to reveal the Nene ahead of us. Once you leave the stand ground lock and get through Peterborough, you're soon back out into the beautiful English countryside. People have asked about how these guillotine locks work from a boat handling perspective. So here's Susie demonstrating how to do one. The first thing she does is gently bring the boat alongside so I can shin up that ladder on the right. And using a lighterman's hitch, I secure the boat on a long centre line. Now it's very important you use something like a lighterman's hitch, because if something goes wrong you can always undo that no matter how strong the load. It's important the line is long because the boat's going to rise a lot in the lock. Now with the boat secured, Susie motors against the line, and this holds the boat tightly to the side. If the bow starts to come out as the water rushes in, small movements of the rudder will bring that bow back again and the stern out. So it's actually quite easy to control the position of the boat in the line. to us, like all the way along the stretch of the Nene, we were accompanied by red kites, and it was a real privilege to see them flying overhead. Evening was drawing in when we finally got to Fortheringhay, and we found this superb mooring. It was just under the castle. You can pull over and you can walk there. There are some pegs in the ground already if you want to, or you can use your own stakes. Now you're supposed to pay to moor there, but when we phoned up to try and do this, the people that run the mooring had decided that actually they didn't fancy coming out and collecting the money, so they said we could stay there for free, which was lovely. Founded in the year 1100 AD, the small castle of Fortheringhay nestles between the village of the same name and the River Nene. And while it's not much to look at today, it was the birthplace of Richard III in 1452. It also has this distinction of being the final place of imprisonment for Mary Queen of Scots, who was executed here in 1587. Looking at it today, it's hard to imagine this unassuming castle was once the heart of so much English history. The mound upon which the keep sat is still clearly visible, and if you look closely, you can still see where the moat once was, the line of the castle walls, and even the mill ponds. We topped the day off with a nice walk through the village and a lovely meal in the pub. The Falcon is one of those nice sort of gems in the countryside. They do good food. It's a nice relaxed atmosphere. We really enjoyed ourselves. Well, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I had promised a bit about a very unusual breakdown, but that's going to have to wait till next time. Until then, thank you for watching. And if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and like us.